Now, there we go. Hello. I am Sam Calderon. I'm the other straight gay man. But so I grew up here in Kitchener. I live in Toronto now. And I was recently talking to a coworker. And I was telling him, I grew up in KW. And he said, oh, you must be so different, living here now, because you grew up in the boonies. I'm like, it's not really the boonies. It's definitely not the country. It's a small city, you know? I mean, I think that, most Torontonians think that if you didn't grow up in, Montreal, Toronto, or Vancouver, then you're probably, out in the bush shitting in an outhouse and, fucking your cousin or something, you know? But, if you did see me in high school, you would have thought I grew up in the boonies, because, my whole ensemble was not working. Every single day, I wore blue highlighter mom jeans. And I wore polos, I was addicted to polo shirts. I really did think that the polos made me look cool as shit, because it was from Aeropostale, so it had cool graphics on the side. And I was pretty chubby back in high school. I didn't lose the baby fat for a long time. And it was no longer baby fat, it was adult fat now. And so I still had my baby fat, I was pretty chubby. So I'm in my polo shirts and my mom jeans. It looked like I was an out-of-touch businessman that got dressed by his wife. It was not... It wasn't working. But this train hat, I was obsessed with this train hat too. And it was, I wore this shit every day. I don't know why nobody told me, you need to stop doing that to yourself. The train hat, though, I was really obsessed with that thing. I loved it to bits and pieces, even though it looked like I was going to take tickets for people. But one day, it was really sad. It got stolen by a gaggle of teenage boys, and I found out that they peed on it. All together. So, boys will be boys, I guess. I think that's why I'm still scared of teenage boys to this day. Because, it doesn't matter how many of them, boys, girls, doesn't matter. I'm terrified. I cross the street because they're ready for mass destruction. They'll do anything. They're chaotic. I'm not here for it. Yeah, so after I dealt with my polo shirts and my train hat situation, I decided, I needed a change in my life. So I moved up to the actual shit in a hole, fuck your cousin boonies, which is Huntsville, Ontario. KW's pretty multicultural. You can't see that from this room, but it genuinely is very multicultural. And, but then I was placed into the cultural equivalent of a glass of milk. And it was terrifying. It was genuine culture shock, but it was my own culture. So I guess you could call it white shock, which kind of sounds like a racist superhero a little bit. Like a skinhead with lightning powers or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, so I shed the baby fat, and I got rid of the polos, and the train hat was, soaked with piss. So I got a new wardrobe brought to you by H&M, and so I thought I was looking really fresh. And I walked in there, and because I didn't have a Bass Pro Shop hat or a meth addiction, they thought I was a British exchange student. They're like, what's the most foreign thing we can think of? Oh, where other white people are, but far away, It's devoid of all culture, that place. I was never confident with women, and it was always a struggle for me. I stayed a virgin all the way up until the last week of high school. And it just never worked for me because I still had the fatness was gone, but the fat boy was still inside, deep in here. But yeah, so I didn't have a lot of luck. So I stayed a virgin all the way up into the last week of high school, where I met a girl and we hit it off very well. And so high school came and went. We saved ourselves for the summer. And let me tell you, we fucked like animals that summer. It was wild. It was great. It's kind of because there was a lot of energy there, partially hormones, but I think most of it was that she was a very repressed Christian gal, so she was rebelling against her upbringing. She's I will fuck anything and everything, and I was a teenager ready for mass destruction, so match made in heaven. We had a nice 3 years together, and we broke up horribly, and so I was left pretty lost and lonely. It was pretty awful, to be frank. She took my PS4, so I had nothing to live for. But, during that time, you should go to, friends and family for support to bring you up out of this time of loneliness. But I instead decided to fuck strangers. So I really thought that would help me, and it didn't. And I'd like to share that with you today. Because, like, my ex was the only person that I'd ever slept with, so I thought a sex binge was exactly what the doctor ordered. But no. So it started off with this nice young girl, very sweet young lady. I would best describe her as like a camp counselor type. Like, okay, guys, it's arts and crafts next. Like that type of lady. Very put together, very nice. So she came over one night, we were making out, and then she stopped us very abruptly, and she said, I have something to tell you. Also, like, I was really glad that she stopped us making out because I've never made out with somebody that brought their lips in when they kissed you. Like, you're supposed to purse your lips out, like this, but she went, like, it was like nothing. Anyways, so I was kind of glad she stopped it. So, yeah, she stopped us, and she said, okay, this might sound strange, but I just recently got out of a relationship, and I'm experimenting because my identity is now a lesbian. Is that okay with you? Fuck yeah, it's okay with me. I'm gonna sleep with a lesbian. That's great. Like, you get to be a lesbian's last dick. It's kind of sick. Like, if that was a Boy Scout badge, I'd wear that proudly. So yeah, so we get down to it, and she is not enjoying herself at all. It lasts about 20 seconds, and she promptly pushes me off of her and runs to the bathroom. And I felt awful. I'm like, I should never have experimented with a lesbian. I give her time. I'm like, she probably needs some space. So then she comes back into the room, and I'll never forget, she closes the door. She spun around in the same spot that she was in, and she looked me dead in the eye, and she said, well, dick isn't for me. And I laughed my ass off. Like, I thought that was great. I'm like, yes, I'm the last dick. Fuck yeah. And so we cuddle up, we talk it out, we talk our feelings out, everything's good. Like, we worked out the feelings, because there was a lot there. And, you know, she's a lesbian, I'm not, and that's kind of what we figured out. That was nice and sweet, you know, we experimented, we broadened our horizons, right? But this next one was fucking awful. This next one was absolutely crazy. I met her on Tinder, and I knew she was crazy right from the get-go because one of her photos, she was wearing cat ears, which says a lot about a person. And also, like, I said, hey, how are you? And then immediately she was like, so you, like, want to fuck or something? I'm like, okay, this is a lot. This is very different from the lesbian, which is what I typed. And I remember talking to my friends, and I was like, should I do this? Like, is this okay? Like, should I fuck a crazy lady? And he said, no, like, that's not a good idea. You never fuck crazy. And I said, pish posh, I'm on a sex binge. So I got her over. We did the business. It was nice. Now, here's something cool, though. I wasn't going to say this, but I think it's something fun. She had a curvature to her spine. She had scoliosis, yeah. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I feel like I feel safe, you know? So she did have scoliosis, but it was like she had a good back doctor. Like, it was nice and straight, just a small curve right at the top. And this is how I knew she was really, really crazy, is she asked me to touch it. And I did. So it was strange. She was a lot. She would get angry with me just like randomly for no reason. I asked her, like, how was your day? She's like, don't fucking ask me this shit. I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ. All right. And then, so very importantly, we left in the morning, and she had left her bong at my house because, you know, it's just what you do. You little bong, little sex, whatever. Now, we went to class. We went to the same college, so we both went to our separate classes. And then I go and ask her. We got into an argument. I don't remember what it was. It was some bullshit. All I remember that she ran away from me and she kicked a locker like she was like Jiminy Cricket. Like, I don't know how angry you have to get to fucking donkey kick a locker, but she did it. And so I leave. It's about like I'm like an hour away from school. So I get home. And then I get this like giant tirade of messages that like will not stop. She's like, give me my fucking bong back. What's your fucking problem? I'm like, I didn't steal your bong. You left it in my home. Like, I don't know what the problem is here. And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? Like, you can come get the bong. Like, it's not a problem. She's like, I can't. I'm like, why? Why can't you come get your own bong? I'm drunk. I'm like, it's been an hour. That's fucking quick. You're good. She can put back her liquor. Scoliosis or not, who cares? And then it got worse really, really fast, because then she said that she was threatening to kill herself if I didn't bring her bong back to her. That's a bombshell. That's pretty bad. So it was pretty rough. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's get on Facebook video chat. Let's work some shit out. You know? So we get on Facebook video chat, and she's hysterically crying. She's immediately screaming to me about her bong. Give me your fucking bong back! And it's a lot for me to handle. And then I'm like, I don't really know what to say. Like, okay, please don't kill yourself over a bong. And then, and then so she then goes right up to the mic and she says, watch this. And she holds a knife to her throat and she says, give me my fucking bong back! And ends the call. I'm like, okay, we've reached a new level of serious. We got to do something about this. So I called the RA because she lived at like a dorm room. And the RA said, everything's fine. It's totally chill. Don't worry about it. And then I get a giant message back. She's like, I would never kill myself over a bong. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, that's what you fucking told me. Of course I'm going to call security on you. I say, listen, I'll come bring you your bong. So I go and bring her bong back. And she's hysterically crying to me. And she says, we could have had something good together. And in my head, I'm like, this is insane. This has been one of the worst days of my life. You try to kill yourself over a bong. This is awful. But I like felt really bad and I didn't want her to blow up again. So I said, you're right. So, you know, well played on my part. And then I got home. I was feeling pretty awful. And I'd already blocked her on Facebook. So I went on Instagram when I got home, feeling very low and exhausted. And I saw a comment that she made on my most recent Instagram post. And I'll never forget what it said, because it's deeply embedded in my soul. And it said, never trust this cracker-ass piece of shit. This motherfucker stole my bong.